Hello, and thank you for joining us this week again on Fireline. You know, if you were with us last week, you know, we hit a little bit of a bump in the road. We got hit with a computer virus that knocked out 2 of my hard drives. And yes, they were backed up, but they got to the backup drive too. They were shows on CNC plasma that I think are important because those are the machines that cut out the pieces of metal that we use to build things with. So last week, while I was in here reconstructing those shows, you were off visiting with some friends by the name of Jimmy and John DeResta. So this week, we're going to do kind of the same thing, only instead of going back east to New York, we're going north to Portland, Oregon. We're going to visit with a young lady whose name is Kimberly Matin. Now, she's come up with a book on welding. Now, admittedly, it's for beginners like me, and perhaps like a lot of you are. But it explains welding in a very basic way, and not only that, it gives you projects to do. Now, I know that a lot of other books give projects to do, but Kimberly has a twist on things. She's actually hooked up with a steel company, King Metals, to create shapes that are then shipped to you in a box, and you can use Kimberly's help and her direction to put these things together, so the only thing you have to do is weld them. I thought it was a great idea, and I hope you do too. So with that, let's go ahead and head up to Portland, Oregon, and a young lady by the name of Kimberly Matin. I think you'll enjoy her like you enjoyed the brothers out in New York.
I'm Kimberly Matin, and I'm your welding creativity expert. I've created large sculptures, small sculptures, and a whole lot more. And I'm the author of Ready, Set, Weld, beginner-friendly projects for the home and garden. Hi, welcome to the Welding for Fun Metal Shop, where I am passionate about helping you have fun and even make money creating with metal. Today, we're going to make some really cool garden stakes from my book. And what's exciting is that you can make these for yourself, or you can go into business making beautiful yard art that people will love to buy from you. And you won't pay a penny more than you would if you were to order these parts directly from the distributor. At weldingforfun.com, you will also find lots of helpful information if you're new to welding. So let's get started. The first thing you do when you open the box, depending on how many projects you ordered, is you want to group everything together. But there's a lot of oil on the pieces, so you might want to wear some gloves. So the first project we're going to make is what I call Petal 1. So I'm going to take my chalk. Just like it says in my book, I'm chalking out just like if it was a clock, the 12, 3, 6, and 9, and then placing chalk marks in between. And that's going to tell me where to place my petals. I'm going to go ahead and place a short tack weld where the petals touch the center. Don't worry about your welds too much. Remember, this is welding for fun, so all we really need is a good tack weld to hold the projects together. Do not weld a trailer hitched together and drive down the road using this technique. For serious structural welding, you really need to take a welding course at your local technical college. Now I'm going to make petal 2, 3, and 4, which are very similar to petal 1. Now I'm going to decorate the center of my flower by placing some weld beads. So next we're going to make what I call petal 5. And it's a little bit tricky because you're welding some pretty thin material to some fairly thick material. If you're a little nervous about welding on thinner material, you can use JB Weld. It's totally waterproof. You can find out more information about it on my website. So because we're welding on such thin material, we're going to have to turn our heat and wire speed down on our welding machine. In order to make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to make a small weld bead at each chalk mark and then weld my petal to that. So the next project we're going to make is what I call the funny bird. And we're using this part for the tail. It sticks out a little bit too much. I want it to go like this, so I'm going to be hammering that down. Then we're using this piece for the beak of the bird. We're going to cut that off with an angle grinder. So once again, we're going to be welding thinner material to thicker material. So if you want to use JB Weld here, that would also work. So next we're going to make a really cool butterfly that everybody's going to love. And I'm using these parts for the antenna, and I don't want that end, so I'm going to cut that off. Now I'm going to make these pretty with my angle grinder. So that's it. Even if you've never welded before, at weldingforfun.com, I can help you get started and make sure that you are successful. What people don't know is that for less than $1,000, you can have everything you need in order to begin creative welding. Officially, MIG stands for Metal Inert Gas, but I think it stands for Mountains of Intense Gratification. So happy welding, and see you next time.